all the names, AD, LeBron, Russ, Lonnie Walker, the new additions, but one guy that is looking forward to bouncing back in a big way is Kendrick Nunn. I recently spoke with him about his road to recovery after missing all of last season with a knee injury.
How does your body feel physically? Where are you at?
I feel great. I feel 100%, to be honest. Back to where I'm normally playing at a high level.
I know for anybody who's ever played sports, like being injured and stuff is tough. When's the last time you felt this good?
It's been a while. It's been a while since I felt this good. Maybe since I was playing back in this last season. The last season I was playing.
I know the focus is looking ahead and the road and the journey and getting into training camp and beyond. But I do want to ask you just what last year was like for you.
Last year was a learning process for me, to be honest. I learned a lot sitting on the sideline just watching. The game slowed down a lot for me. I got to see things from a different perspective, so definitely took a step just with my ability to learn the game.
You know, it's interesting. Coaching my own kids, young girls, I've often said that, hey, when you have to miss a tournament, you have to miss a game because of an injury, you can learn a lot about yourself and the game. Did you find that?
Yeah, I definitely found that. Wasn't expecting to sit out that long, but I took advantage of it just to watch, sit back and watch from a different perspective.
What are your goals for training camp?
My goals for training camp is to compete at a high level. Bring my strengths to the game, bring my strengths to the team, be a leader, and just do what I can do.
Had any conversations with Darvin?
Yeah, I talked to him a bunch while he was here.
Yeah, he seems great. I mean, he's been in the studio, and we knew him back our first year at the network. He was an assistant on that staff, and it's been a crazy journey for him, too, to get to this point.
Yeah, I've talked with Darvin a lot. Me and him ran into each other a bunch of times with me working out and him coming in before the summer league. I also got to work out with him a little bit, so that was great.
For those Laker fans that obviously, remember when, Miami and the Lakers met in the bubble for the finals, what do you want to show them what kind of player you are? Like, what should they expect?
They should expect consistency. It's my number one thing. Coming in, night out, and being consistent on both ends of the floor.
Trent, I want to start with you. Kendrick Nunn seems like kind of the forgotten man a year ago. He's on the road back. He's motivated. How important is he to this team?
I think that, unfortunately, this does happen when somebody misses a season, and especially if they haven't been with that team the year prior. It is forgotten. It is forgotten, and it's forgotten that he's a pretty good player. And he was playing in the finals against the Lakers and giving them some problems at times coming off the bench. So Nunn is a better defender, I think, than some people realize. He's not going to lock up the other team's point guard necessarily, but he's a physical defender. He gets through screens pretty well. And offensively, he's a guy that can score at 3 levels. So he can get to the mid-range. He's got a floater. He's got little setback jumpers. He can shoot the 3. He can get all the way to the rim and finish there. So I do think that he's a very interesting piece. And the important thing, and I'm glad you got a chance to talk to him, Geeter, is that he's feeling good. Like, we didn't really get a chance to go over that even at the end of the season. So that, to me, is very encouraging. He's on the court. He's playing some – is he playing some pickup? Or did he?
Not yet.
Okay, not yet. So he's
not yet.
So he's not yet to that phase.
The hope is, though, training camp, he's ready.
Okay.
Is what I think everyone's shooting for.
Okay, so that's the big thing, right? So can he get to that point where he can hit training camp or even a preseason game running, Brez, to the point where you can actually get him on the floor? Because they missed him last year.
No doubt. I mean, this is a guy, let's not forget, it's almost like they re-signed another free agent in Kendrick Nunn, because we don't know what he's going to be like with the Lakers. Like we did in Miami, a little bit of everything, a decent defender. They're really impressed by his defense at training camp last season, by the way. And, of course, can hit some threes. Also, a nice little floater in the lane when he was with the Heat.
Perez, it's interesting when you look at, what he did in Miami. He played for a couple years, but, he was in that final against the Lakers. But he averaged 14, 15 a game.
Yeah.
So, he's capable.
Yeah, I mean, if Pat Riley...
For a team that went to the finals.
Yeah, if Pat Riley, Eric Spoelstra production is giving you that much time, you're doing a good thing in that very defensive-minded, very smart offensive system as well. He did some good things for that team. Keep in mind, still a young player. He'll be 27 when the season starts, so it's not like they're getting a 32-year-old coming in.
You know who else is looking forward to another bounce-back season? Who needs one? He's a superstar in this league. Anthony Davis. AD, right? Like, without a doubt, he is a game changer when he's healthy physically, because I think that helps him also mentally and with confidence. When you're injured that much, I think that part of your game, that self-confidence can go and can weigh because you're worried about getting hurt. We've seen the work, right? I mean, you're getting little snapshots of the sand dunes, the early morning workouts with Lethal Shooter. Trudeau, what's your thoughts on just looking ahead to what you expect from AD?
It's a tough question because coming off of the bubble, right? We were already kind of thinking, all right, this trajectory continues
MVP
for AD as he continues towards this clearly a dominant two-way force. The only other guy that can do all the things that he can do is Giannis. And Giannis has been able to stay healthy, he's been able to stay on the floor, and that has just not been the case for AD. Now, the difficulty for AD is that that whole bubble thing screwed him up more than anybody else. LeBron, I think, can almost deal with anything, and the shortened off season, he kind of just took that in stride, even though it did lead to some injuries for LeBron as well. And AD, I thought, was going to catch up last year. Instead, what he did was bulk up some, because I think he thought he was going to play some more center. I'm very curious how he comes into camp in terms of his weight. Does he take some pounds off, maybe, and go back to the body type that we've seen him have so much success with? And then, you have Bryant in, you have Jones in to play some more center minutes. Maybe he's off the ball more. I'm curious if that's something that could help him. But regardless, of course, there's nothing more important than he and LeBron being on the court.
Yeah, Mike, great points. I would add to that. I remember last year during media day, we're all like, "Ooh, AD looks good." He's put on the weight. His shoulders were pretty big. This year, that doesn't matter. I want to see if he can stay on the court. It's no longer is he going to pass the eye test. It is he going to pass the playing more than 40, 42 games a season test. If this team's going to be a top 4 or 5 team in the West, he has to play 70 games or more. He just has to. And it can't happen because 2 years ago, he missed only 9 games in that bubble year. What happened? They won the whole thing. So it's really vital for him to have the type of year that he had 2 years ago, stayed on the court, and they win the championship. It's that easy.
Guys?
Yep.
Chris?
She answered 592 questions on a 6-hour flight home for all the fans on Instagram.
AMA.
She is Hallie Clifton.
We're going to leave that.
I was so mad when I woke up. I was like, I have so many questions, but you're done.
I was waiting. It's still rolling. 24 hours. Get on it. Before he became the head coach of the Lakers, Darvin Ham was most notably known for breaking the backboard versus Big Game James's alma mater, the UNC Tar Heels, as his ability to deliver emphatic finishes carried over into the NBA. In our backstage cameras, they give
Anthony Davis once James retires to start a complete rebuild. Nevertheless, James has clearly been pushing the franchise to get the pieces around him to contend for another championship, and a trade with Indiana could go a long way in that regard. The Lakers' interest in guard Hield is not new, with the team reportedly close to signing the then Kings player last season before signing Westbrook instead. That move backfired spectacularly, with the Lakers now desperately scouring the market for a way out of their Westbrook nightmare. It's already the biggest drama of the NBA offseason, and it shows no signs of slowing down. Russell Westbrook trade rumors, deal with Pacers dead due to Lakers' refusal to include 2 first-round picks. The Lakers and Pacers have discussed a deal that would send Miles Turner and Buddy Hield to LA. The Los Angeles Lakers have engaged the Indiana Pacers on trade talks involving a swap of Russell Westbrook for Miles Turner and Buddy Hield, but those discussions are now dead because the Lakers refused to include a second first-round pick, according to The Athletic. While the Lakers would be willing to send out one of their available first-round picks, specifically the 2027 selection, the Pacers believe they should get 2 of them, one for the trouble of taking on Westbrook's contract and another in exchange for Turner and Hield. The Lakers' reluctance to send out future draft assets is nothing new. At last season's deadline, they reportedly turned down a chance to swap Westbrook for John Wall because they didn't want to attach a pick to the deal. This, however, is the most specifics we've gotten regarding a potential Westbrook deal this summer. Earlier this month, Westbrook, as expected, opted into the final year of his contract worth $47.1 million. While the front office and coaching staff has been honest with Westbrook about needing him to adjust his role, they have been supportive in public. "We love everyone on our roster," new coach Darvin Ham said during one of the Lakers' Summer League games.